sinners, and hail Sappho. I'm your host, Narcissa DeVille, and welcome to Femme Makeup Chats. So first of all, I've been meaning to talk about this because I'm actually past this milestone now, but I have made over 100 of my Butch love letters on my fortheloveofbutches.com series. I cannot believe it. Here's the thing, right? When I came up with this idea, literally at the tail end of last year, I was like, I want to do this thing where I write a love letter a day, 365. I was already writing some love letters kind of periodically. And I was like, I love Butches. I have so much to say. Cut to, I don't think I really thought about what kind of work it is to come up with a concept every day. Like I truly did not consider what I was getting myself into. I was just like, no, I can totally do this. I have so many things to say about my love of Butches. This is going to be easy. And let me tell you, it's not that easy because I'm doing it every day. It's not like when something comes to me or when I feel inspired. It's every day, bro. Oh God, I hate myself for that. And I hate that I know that. Like it is though. It is every day. I have to, whether or not I kind of feel it. When I was having a cold at the beginning of March, we're still doing this. So, and I don't regret it. I love doing it. It is so much fun, but it is kind of funny to think about I don't think people realize just like how much work goes into it and how much time goes into it. And I don't even think I considered that when I came up with the idea. I was just like, oh yeah, I can go on about Butches very, very easily. This is going to be like cakewalk for me. Yeah, did not consider not a cakewalk. It is work. It's worth it. I love it. I have no regrets, but yeah, definitely something I do wish I'd thought about a little bit more. Oh, I literally have a beautiful green that I can use in this sugar pill palette that I've had for like a while. I don't even know what it's called, but it's a beautiful green. So yeah, the long and short of it is I didn't really think about how that was going to go, but I just wanted to do it. And now I'm at over 100. I think I'm at like 113, 114, something like that. So it's really amazing. I'm so proud of it. I hope that people have been enjoying it. I will say one of the things that shocked me is I obviously post this on WordPress and Tumblr. I started it on WordPress because that was something I used to love. I loved having a WordPress blog. So I'm very familiar with WordPress, but I wanted to also make sure everything got shared to Tumblr because obviously that is where I would argue most of my lesbian fan base is. Tumblr is just the place. And so for me, Tumblr makes perfect sense as a place to post this stuff. And I gotta say, because I don't really feel the need to block people the way I do on Tumblr. I have a shocking amount for me of men who react to my love letter series. It's very surprising to me. And I guess it shouldn't be surprising. And I have mixed feelings about it because I really don't want men interacting with anything that I do. This channel is pretty much 100% women according to my YouTube analytics. So I'm pretty happy with that, I would say. No, not even pretty much. It's 100%. I'm sure there are people who don't identify as women who watch my content, but for some reason, the way the YouTube algorithm works, it's just showing me that only women follow me. And I'm not about to complain about that, to be honest with you. So what it means, though, is that it is a situation where having some men interact with my work is something that happens and very, very strange to me. And I don't know how to feel about it, but I also, it's not something I can really do much about. I don't feel like I'm, it's not really worth, blocking people just, for that on that channels or in that space. So I'm just kind of leaving it at this point, but it's surprising because, it is very clearly about being a lesbian and very clearly about my attraction to butches and studs. But, I guess if you still feel like that's a space for you, go off, dude. I don't know. I don't know. It's not a huge deal. I'm not losing sleep over it, to be honest with you, but it is strange and unexpected. I'll say that. I love how I still have not gotten to the Q&A portion. the Q&A portion of this video. First question, are you more of a night or midday person? What do you enjoy about that time? Or no, sorry. Are you more of a morning, night, or midday person, and what do you enjoy about that time? I would say I am more of a night person. I have been forced by circumstance, e.g., jobs, to be a morning person, and it's fine, but I am naturally more of a night person. As a writer, I am more creatively active at night. And there's a whole lot of reasons for that. I think scientifically, I actually saw a Tumblr post that I found so interesting, and I think about it constantly. And it's basically saying society has kind of convinced us that all people must be day people, but actually if you think about, the genetic reason for there to be people who are better suited to be night people, it's because, in ye old caveman times, there would have to be people who stayed awake all night to make sure that the rest of the group was kept safe. And so it makes perfect sense, therefore, that some people are just more suited to nighttime and some people are more suited to daytime. And I would say I'm very much that person who is more suited to nighttime.
So while I was editing this video, I remembered some stories from my childhood that I think perfectly encapsulate how I was just always a night owl. I remember my mother used to work at this store, and they would have really, really super early meetings, 4 a.m. meetings. And so we used to have to wake up at 3, 4 in the morning so I could go with her to these meetings. I mean, I didn't have to go, but I just loved to wake up early and go to these meetings. And then I remember very distinctly, every time we used to go to California, we always used to get up at 3, 4 in the morning so we could drive in the middle of the night. So yeah, I've always kind of just been more of a night owl.
There's less distractions. There's less things going on. I don't know what it is. There is something a little more creative about the nighttime too, I will say. The next question is, how do you feel around feminine straight women? The answer to this is kind of complicated because, to be honest with you, besides family members, I cannot remember the last feminine straight woman that I hung around. I've talked about this a lot, and a lot of people think I'm bragging when I talk about this, but all throughout high school, I had almost exclusively lesbian friends. I had a few friends who were not, but the majority of my friends in high school were lesbians. And so I really did not hang around feminine straight people. And even people who in my circle of friends who were not actively lesbians were at least some flavor of LGBT down the line. So I really did not have those influences of feminine straight women who were not people who were in my immediate circle. So, and I get what the question's going at, and how, a lot of times feminine straight women, there is a difference between a feminine straight woman and a feminine lesbian woman. So I get that is what the question is asking. Again, besides people I'm directly related to, which I think is always going to be, not a fair comparison, I would not say that I have really interacted with a ton of feminine straight women in the last few years. So I don't feel like I can truly answer this question in a way that is going to be satisfactory, because I don't make a habit of making friends with straight people at all if I can help it. It's not even an active thing at this point either. That's what's so hilarious. It's not like I'm trying not to make friends with straight people. It's just, it keeps happening. The people who I really connect with are often nowhere straight. So I guess how I feel around them is I don't care. I don't think about it because they're not in my immediate circle of people I'm going to be friends with or talk to or react to. And I will say, obviously, if you have to deal with them in the public, it's never fun. But that's not, I don't enjoy dealing with men in public either. So I don't know, because I don't interact with them regularly, and I don't really go out places often, so it never comes up there either. So I would say I don't really have much of an opinion of feminine straight women because I don't really have to interact with them, and I'm very, very lucky for that. Next question, and this is the one I am the most excited about. What is your butch type? Okay, so I don't know if I've ever talked about this in a video, and it's not for a lack of desire, but I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's ever come up for whatever reason. However, I am a strong believer in asking for exactly what you want. So let me put out into the universe vocally and on video exactly what I am attracted to. Okay, one of the things I am very, very attracted to is I love dark curly hair and dark eyes. That combo every single time lays me out like I am being body slammed. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it started, but I just love it. And every time I have the opportunity to talk to a butch or a stud or a mask person who has the curly dark hair, dark eyes combo, I'm like, please, I will do whatever you want. Not literally, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that is my biggest weakness. I love like a kind of jock himbo vibe. I'm not gonna lie. I do want someone that I can talk to and who like makes me laugh and who is, good at communicating and knows exactly what they want, and what they want is me, and they're gonna go after that. I do want that, and I know that's asking a lot for butches, because I know that society does not make it easy for them to like go after what they want without penalizing them. And so I'm willing to make the first move. I've become very good at that, actually. But I want, like, after I've made the first move, then you can be like, okay, I know what I want. I want you. Let's go for it. Like, I will make the first move. I will make the first contact if I have to. But after that, I need you to meet me the rest of the way. You know what I mean? I don't think that's asking too much. I do like a little bit of, like, if we're going to talk vibe, I love a, like, fuckboy aesthetic. I always like to say fuckboy with a heart of gold. So, like, not an actual fuckboy who's gonna, like, date around and not take anything seriously, because I am trying to be a wife here. But very much that aesthetic. Like, I am very weak for a butch in a backwards hat and a fucking flannel. Like, oh, God, something about that to me. I do love like motorcycle butches, although it does stress me out, I have come to learn. But I love the idea of someone taller than me. I know that's tricky. It does happen. I've met butches that are taller than me, and being 5'4", that's like easier than you'd think, but also harder than you'd think. But I do enjoy a taller butch, I will say, let it be said, but it's not a requirement for me. That's not like something that is like a deal breaker. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Like, and I'm not gonna not date someone for not being taller than me, but it is something I do enjoy, because I do kind of like the extremes. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was listening to a podcast the other day where this person was talking about like being someone who really loves extremes, and like, I gotta be honest, I kind of feel that. I love an extreme of like, okay, you're taller than me, so I can be short and cute and whatever. Someone who could like pick me up and throw me around a little bit would be really nice. But then again, also like soft vibes, like very, gentle and sweet and all of that, which butches are, but you know what I mean. Some people are really into the rough shit sexually, and then I'm including femmes in that. I'm not one of them. I'm very much a soft and sweet girl. I do not like it rough. I do not like to be called mean things. You gotta be nice to me. I'm so sorry. And like, I'm not judging anyone who is into that, but like, it's just not me. It's just not me. I am not that girl. I am too soft and sensitive. I've got too much of a praise king. A lot of my preferences are not necessarily deal breakers, and I've definitely been attracted to people who don't fit all of my like preferred type and all of that. So it's kind of like, this is my type, but also if you're into me, maybe shoot your shot and see what happens, What is your comfort movie or book? I'm going to answer both of these. Now, comfort movie, for a long time, I would have said The Exorcist. I love it. I do think it's really super funny, which is hilarious considering like I did have a lot of childhood trauma around that movie, but now I'm very like, it is so fucking funny. I love that movie. So for a long time, I would have said The Exorcist. Nowadays, I really, really think it's Alien. I really feel like Alien is such a comfort movie to me. Like, when I really just need to feel good and need to see something that I really, really am going to enjoy, it's Alien. And I'm not even like a sci-fi girl. I just love that movie. And I love Sigourney Weaver in that movie. Oh my God. Yeah. Let's put it this way. If I was not already gay, Sigourney Weaver would have been a huge gay awakening for me. I'm sure she was for many a girl. 'Cause God, just the hardcore dyke vibes in that movie, particularly from her. Just, oh, get me every time. Comfort book, I am going to say Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I really, really love that book. It is so much fun. It is cute. I've had the second and third book. I've read part of the second book. I kind of got distracted with my own writing, but I do have it. I have read it a little bit. You know, don't come for me. I haven't read all the books, but I'm working on it. What does the little voice in your head sound like? Are they nice? Are they loud? Are they sexy? Okay. I think this question is so funny and like amazingly worded. So for me, if we're going to talk about like the narrator voice in my head who like narrates my thoughts, whatever, I would say generally speaking, it's going to be my voice. I can change it. I have definitely had times where I'm feeling my like Carrie Bradshaw fantasy, and I couldn't help but wonder, like, obviously I did that for a whole video too, just for the fun of it. So like, I definitely can change it. I can change the voice, like when I'm thinking thoughts, but most of the time it's going to be me. So to answer the question of, is it loud? No louder than I am. So make of that what you will. Most ridiculous advice you have received so far. So I had to think about this. So when I was younger, obviously I've been a writer for the last 20 years. I am 31, so you do the math. But I often read books on writing even as a young person. Like I was very serious about my craft. I took writing very, very seriously. Honestly, I take it less seriously now. And not that it's not serious to me and not that I don't still love it, but I'm just less serious generally in terms of like, it's not that deep, girl. Like it doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be so like, I really used to let shit bother me as a young writer that like now does not matter to me. Like I used to be such a hater when I saw some celebrity wrote a novel, because I'm like, first of all, you didn't write that. Second of all, like, it's not fair. That takes away a spot from another, you know, a real writer, quote unquote. And then I thought about it for a second as I got older, and I was like, first of all, that is how publishers keep the lights on in this day and age. But also, it's not really taking away a spot. Like, and you can be a celebrity and be a good writer. Like they don't have to not coexist. And yes, I realize a lot of them are like ghost written, but that, I don't know. I just feel like it's not that big of a deal now. And I used to be really, really bitter about it as a young person. I used to be bitter about a lot of things as a young person that like now I'm like, girl, it's not that deep. So I would say I take my writing like less seriously in the sense that I don't let things that have nothing to do with me affect me and upset me the way I used to and the way I did for many, many years. So that is one thing. But one of the pieces of advice that I think is the worst piece of advice ever, and that if I had to ever give writing advice, I would never give this advice, and I would tell people to ignore such advice, is in every writing book that I have ever read, there has always been this advice of like, lower your expectations for how successful you can be or how big you can be, because honestly, it's so rare for people to be successful authors, and like, just because you've seen them does not mean that's going to be you, and you are not necessarily the next, you know, blah, 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 Stephen King or whoever. But I think that's terrible writing advice. I've just never felt that way. And obviously, I think to be successful in any industry, you really have to not let yourself believe that you are not like the most important person to ever live. And I don't mean that you have to be like obnoxious about it. I don't think that at all. I don't think you need to act like you are better than everyone. And I don't think you need to act like you are more important than everyone. But I think a certain level of belief in your ability and belief in your talent is so incredibly necessary and so incredibly important. And I think if I had ever listened to that advice of like, almost no one becomes successful at this, almost no one becomes, you know, a well-known author, or even, you know, whatever success even means to you. Like, that's such a personal thing anyway. But like, I think if I ever actually listened to that, I would never, ever keep writing, because like, I just think it's terrible advice. I think it is the worst possible advice you could ever give someone, is to tell them, like, you are not that special, basically. That to me is like my top 10 worst pieces of advice. You have to have a level of, like I said last week, you have to have a delusional level of self-confidence to do most things in this world. Like, in order to make YouTube videos and think you can do it successfully, you have to have a delusional level of self-confidence. You have to have a delusional level of believing in you and your abilities. You have to. In order to be successful, you have to believe that you are the shit and no one is doing what you're doing. Because no one is doing what you're doing, for the record. Nobody is doing what you're doing. And that makes you special. And I think it makes you, very, very important. So anytime people are like, no, you have to keep your, you're not that important, you're not that interesting or whatever. Like, I just don't subscribe to that theory whatsoever. I will not be told that I am not great and amazing and talented. So I don't know, just for me, that is the worst piece of advice. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your own talents, because a lot of times you're going to have to advocate for yourself too. So believe in yourself to the extent that you want to believe in yourself. And by the way, your definition of success does not have to be the same as everyone else's. Let's put that out there too. Your definition of being successful and doing well as a writer does not have to be what everyone else thinks it should be. So I think even that, to me, is like, that adds to this whole thing. Your definition of success does not have to be what everyone else thinks success is. Your definition of doing what you love and doing, what you enjoy and all of that does not have to be the same as everyone else's. So I just want to put that out there. 'Cause I do feel like there's this idea that, if in order to be successful, you have to want what everyone else wants. No, you don't. You don't have to want what everyone else wants. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You can actually just, define success on your own terms and define what that means to you. Like, if I really, really stop and think about it and let myself consider it, I was a hugely successful fanfic author. And you can talk about whether or not that counts, because you can't publish it and you can't do anything with it. But I was very successful at it and I really enjoyed it. And so for me, that is a success. That is something I can say, I have been a successful author and I'm doing it. So, I just feel like success is very much a personal thing, and I don't subscribe to any piece of advice. Look, like, if you're going to do something, you have to believe that you are going to, if you want to be successful at it and it's something you want to do and success is something that's important to you, you have to believe that you can do it no matter what. You have to believe that you are the shit and you are doing amazing, sweetie, and just all of these things. Like, you have to have that delusional self-confidence. Sorry. Just my tea. Favorite perfumes or scents on myself and other people. I have talked about this a lot. I am very, very partial to a Juicy Couture perfume. I love, most recently, the Juicy Couture Rosé perfume. I also love the Pink Couture perfume. I want to smell their new florals, like perfume that's just called florals. I assume they all kind of smell similar, but I love Juicy Couture. On other people, I love the idea of a butch in like cologne. I know there is like so much stuff about Bath and Body Works candles, but I love their fall scented candle of like, it's called flannel. Something about the flannel scent just really, really speaks to me. So I am very, very partial to that. It does smell like very muscly. I think I meant to say musky. It's just very like masculine and does give me like butch vibes. And of course, thinking about a butch and flannel. I've always loved flannel, and it was funny because my ex used to make a joke that I was a lesbian because I had flannel bed sheets for a time. And I was like, no, they were right. They got me, gal. Something that needs to be invented for the benefit of all lesbian kind. Teleportation. I'm sorry. I know everyone is on the train track. What do you visualize as a relaxing day with your partner? Okay, so I have a couple in mind. I've really been on a picnic kick lately. Not to be cottagecore about it on Maine, because it's not about that. I just do really enjoy eating outside. I used to do that a lot as a kid, so I love the idea of a picnic. But the other big thing that I imagine as a relaxing day is like a rainy day where we are just laying in bed and watching TV and it's raining outside and it's all dark and like gloomy and all of that. And like maybe we're, you know, watching whatever we feel like, Alien maybe, perhaps. And then just like that to me sounds wonderful. I love that. Maybe with the window open so we get that nice little breeze and like a little fireplace crackling. That sounds like heaven. Writing utensils, computer or pen and paper? If pen and paper, can we see your favorite pen/notebook? Both. I'm gonna say both. I love them both for different reasons. Handwriting, of course, has like a very special place in my heart just from a perspective of, there's something about handwriting that like inspires creativity for me in a different way than writing on the computer does. And that is actually backed up by science, so I feel very vindicated for that. But yeah, generally speaking, I would say I like both. I don't have a favorite pen/notebook. I used to really be obsessed with the Bic round stick, the like white base with the black cap and the black nib. But they stopped making those, so I had to like find them on eBay for a while, and then I just kind of gave up. I do still have some, but I don't know why those were like my favorite as a young person. I hated when they changed them to like the all black or gray body. I was so mad about that. I like the like retro feel of the white and black ones. Why? Who fucking knows? So yeah, I don't have a favorite notebook or whatever. I just kind of use everything. I do really enjoy though, the dollar store has these like 3 subject, like 4x6, I think they're 4x6 notebooks that I used to have because I could carry them in my purse when I used to work a day job. And so I could have like a couple of notebooks, some pens, and just go to town. Those were such good times. I don't miss working in an office, but I do miss having notebooks with me at all times and like in my purse and things like that. So okay, this one is really kind of funny too, because they said things that greater society finds unsexy or repulsive that you adore. Show us your punk side. I don't know that I have a punk side. I'm gonna be honest. That said, I mean, I loving butches and studs, I feel like is pretty, most society does not appreciate them the way they deserve. I think the world would be a much better place if butches and studs were appreciated the way they deserve. And then of course, like as I get older, I really, really like more tacky colors and color combinations. I've been working on for like months now, I've kind of fallen off on it, but I have been working on a cardigan that I'm gonna knit. It's a patchwork cardigan. And the patchwork colors that I'm doing like orange and pink, red and pink, like very like colors that should not go together, but I love them together. I love it. It's so tacky, but so pretty. I don't know what to tell you. So I do kind of like things that are more tacky. I enjoy that a lot. So one music recommendation for hard days, Believe by Cher. It's a pick-me-up song. I love it. The last one from this person is going to be Dream YouTube collab. Who and why? Okay, so my knee jerk here is to say Strange Eons for obvious reasons. I really adore their channel. I really adore them. I really enjoy their girlfriend. However, I also want to say Trixie and or Katya. The Trixie and Katya podcast, but also Trixie's specifically. She is such a huge icon to me. So like, yeah, part of me does want to say that. So it's hard to say. The last question is, one of my good friends wanted to know when I started transitioning and more about my journey to lesbianism and dykering. The answer to that is kind of complicated. I've talked about it in many different videos. I'll link them in the cards. Most recently, I talked about it in like my Femme journey video, but I would say the TLDR is I started transitioning. Okay, well, you can get over that. I started about 10 years ago. And, you know, in the beginning, when I first realized, I was like, maybe I should rethink everything about myself because, you know, you second guess things, you think more, and you grow. And, you know, I think at that time I was kind of like, okay, if I'm not sure about this thing about myself, what do I really know about myself? So I did like second guess and self-doubt and all of these things. And then as I got older, I kind of realized, or, you know, as I like figured things out, I'm like, no, I think I'm still into guys. And I guess that makes me straight now, which was really a mind fuck for me. Long story short, yeah, it took me several more years to realize that I was like 28, 29 by the time I finally realized like, oh, actually, you know what? I prefer women. Who knew? Could have come to that realization a decade earlier, but I was slow on the uptake. What can I say? But yeah, I've talked about this in other videos. I do have like a full dedicated video to this journey specifically, so I think that would be more informative. Like I could spend another hour just talking about this subject, which I really don't want to do. I'm clearly pissing off my neighbors. Thank God I'm moving soon. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel.